Hello and welcome to the first of few videos on how to make your own fursuit head. In this video I will cover the basic materials. Maybe in the future videos I can cover the more advanced techniques such as LED lights and removable tongs, but for now let's stick to basics. So one of the first things you'll need is a glue gun, like this one right here. Here I use the 0.7 or is it 7mm glue gun? Well, basically the small ones. It is recommended to have the fatter ones or the bigger glue gun, but I use the smaller one because it's a bit more convenient to me. And basically if you have a small one like this, you just have to get a lot more glue gun sticks. You do tend to use up quite a lot of glue gun sticks. So, for example, if I get this from down here, I have this massive box of glue gun sticks. Basically, you collect them over time, but if you're first starting out, I really do recommend getting a 100 pack or 200 pack. Just get as many as you can. So, next on our list is scissors. We need a good pair of scissors. Foam can be kind of annoying to cut, especially if you've got a big thick block of foam, but if you have a small thinness of foam, you should be fine with a pair of scissors. What other makers like to use is a electric knife, which is good for if you've got one of those pre-done foam heads. I believe is rising foam heads. I had to think there for a moment, but yeah. So if you're just doing the basic technique, which I'm going to show in this series, you just need a simple pair of scissors or a good craft knife. I preferably like to use the craft knife for when I'm doing the fursuit eyes, but I never use it when using the foam, which you can do, and you can also use it when cutting your fur. Okay, so the next item on our shopping list is a mannequin head. It's kind of a bit hard for me to put on camera. It's quite a big one. Once you're getting into making fursuits, it is recommended to get a nice hefty plastic one. I do not recommend getting the ones with the vinyl on it, because mine has kind of like come off from the tape that I use. So it's best to try and get the plain one. It doesn't really matter if you do get the vinyl one. Just be aware it can peel off. So yeah, I use the one meant for men, like life size, but you can get the polystyrene ones, which are a bit easier to find, better for beginners, but be aware that sometimes the sizing can be off, so it can be a bit smaller than the actual head. So if that's the case, you need to make sure the head base is to fit to your head. So that's where you need the tape measure. The tape measure, you can measure your own head. So then you can put more foam around. I will have to show you that in another video. So let's just get on with the materials. So here we have a Sharpie. This is very important so you can plan out your patternings. As you know, in this kit you get your own pattern sheets, so you just have to trace around. But if you're eyeballing it, or if you're coming up with your own pattern, it's best to have a good Sharpie or permanent marker. I like to use coloured ones, especially if it kind of matches the fur that you're using. As you can see, it can write on pretty well. Anyways, onto the foam anyways. So I like to use this 1/2 inch or inch foam. You can use slightly thicker, so then you have to build up less, but you then have to carve down more. But if you use the thinner foam, you do have to stick on method a bit more. But it's good for doing the method I like to use, where you bend it over a bit. You'll see that in the rest of the videos, but for now, this is the foam you need. It is brilliant. I like to use the white ones, but there's other colours you can get. apparently the thickness is different, but I haven't really seen a difference. Next on the agenda, fleece. This is a little sample of some fleece I've got. This is really good for doing the inside of the mouths and doing tongues. Another alternative to this is actually felt. It is great for beginners. I still use it occasionally for some parts where I think that I want a bit of a tougher look and less soft. It is a lot less stretchier, but both of them are nice and easy to sew. Depending on the fleece, sometimes it can be a little difficult. You need a good needle for it. Next on your agenda, needles. You need these to sew with. I really do recommend sewing. If you do not sew your fursuits, it'll look really bad. Please don't just glue it. Sew it, please. Next we have different fur types. So this is some nice high quality fur. It is a lot more expensive than the mid quality fur which you can get. I recommend this for like smaller parts on the face. This is from a fursuit that I'm currently working on, so I tend to use this for like more fluffier parts or smaller bits on the face, or if I'm doing a character that is a bit more creepy side and need the fur to be a lot shaggier and less clean looking, I'll use the cheaper stuff because it generally looks a little bit rougher on the ends. And this stuff is nice and smooth, so it ends up making your suit look cuter. But I do recommend using the slightly cheaper stuff because, for one, it's cheap, so you can get more if you need to like practice a little bit more with your sewing and your cutting. And it's still nice to shave, just that you can't shave it as close to like this is. You can't shave this one as much, otherwise you can get bald spots, but if you use the more expensive stuff you can get a nice shave. Another good thing for beginners is using fleece for the face area rather than fur. If you don't have a razor, which you do need to shave the fur with, you can use fleece. It is actually slightly better for the environment as well, because when you shave the fur you get loads of offcuts. Which is another thing I recommend, is using some of the offcuts for stuffing. Like, say if you need to stuff out the cheeks a little bit more, you can use fur offcuts because it's slightly better for the environment. Or you can just use stuffing, it's up to you. Anyways, on to the eyes. I like to use this fun EVA foam. It's nice and easy to work with. Personally, I do like to do 2D eyes, so I don't really have to worry about curving it round for 3D eyes, but it is great for 3D eyes. Another thing you can use is plastic. I believe it's a little bit more expensive and you get it in less colours. I think they're slowly bringing out more colours, but EVA foam is great for different colours and you can get sparkly ones. It's just great. You just have to like make sure the suit is a bit more well maintained, and you might have to replace it if it can get broken, but I haven't had it get ripped on me or anything on my current suits. Like, I've got one there that's been having for like a year now with the mid-quality fur, and he's still looking nice as when I've made him. Anyways, eye mesh. They say to use buckram, but it's kind of expensive in the UK and you can't find it as easy in like shops and stuff. So I use the Adidas mesh. It is brilliant. Like, I have had a friend that finds this a lot easier to work with than the buckram. So I like to use darker colours because you can actually see through it a lot better. But no one can see you when your eyes are underneath. Especially if your like eyes are slightly further away. Like, if you look at all my other suits, you can't see through it, like the person underneath, but the vision in it is really, really good, especially with a darker colour. But then you need more layers on top if your paint's a lot more watery. So, yeah. You can also get white, you can get this in loads of different colours. The only thing with lighter colours of this mesh, you need to paint the backs black, otherwise the vision will be a lot worse. Now on to lycra and cotton. Cotton is a great alternative for the lycra that you can use for your lining. You can also use this for inside of the mouths or on your ears if you want certain patterns. You can get this in plain a lot cheaper, but if you get cool patterns, it looks nicer. It's of course stretchy and it's breathable. Same with the cotton, but this isn't as stretchy. So when you're doing your head base, your balaclava, you will need to use lycra, but you can use this. You'll just have to make it slightly bigger. This you can have it slightly smaller on you and it's a nice tight fit. Also, cotton is nice and it comes in a lot of different shapes and patterns. As you can see here, I've got this eco fat block of fat quarters from Aldi. They tend to get these in a lot. They're really nice to work with. Anyways, that's all for materials, so I'll see you in the next video where we start to work on the head base. See you then.